I'm walking through this building that isn't much to see right now. It's tattered, it's beat up, and in just a few minutes, this building is going to be torn down. This church that once housed worshipers, where people would come to seek God, maybe somebody came down to this altar right here and came to know Jesus Christ here. I don't know. I don't know all the things that could have or probably happened in this building. But by the time you see this video, this building won't even be here anymore. This building that was decorated with gorgeous stained glass windows that have been removed. Beautiful craftsmanship that is deteriorating and falling apart and will soon be leveled. It reminds me when Jesus was with his disciples and they're leaving the temple, and his disciples pointed out to him how beautiful the building was and the building surrounding it. And Jesus' reply to them was this: not one stone will be left upon another. See, no matter how beautiful the building is, no matter how gorgeous the building is, it's what happens inside that matters. See, they were shocked when Jesus said that. They were surprised. Oh, this gorgeous building, look at it. Isn't it overwhelming? Isn't it beautiful, Jesus? And he said, it doesn't really matter. Not one stone is going to be left upon another. The same is true for this building. It will be completely devastated. Jesus left the temple and he walks out onto the Mount of Olives, directly across from the temple. And he begins to tell his disciples to not be deceived. See, a lot of times we're like this building. Gorgeous, beautiful, beautiful architecture, lovely design. But at some point, people stopped worshiping in here. At some point, people stopped seeking Christ together in this building. At some point, this became just a building, an empty shell. It's much like some of the most gorgeous churches on planet Earth. They have no worshipers inside of them. There's no worship, there's no glory that takes place there. There's no seeking God. In the New Testament, the Apostle Paul writes to the church, and he tells us, don't you yourself know that you are the temple of the Holy Spirit? You see, we're not called to just go to church, to go into a beautiful building and say, oh, this must be what God is about because it's a beautiful building and I feel good being here with other people. But we're called to be the church. We're called to be the temple itself. Not just prettied up on the outside, make it look like we have life all together, but to live lives of worship, to have the very life of God breathed within us. After Jesus rose from the dead, he appeared to his disciples. It says he breathed upon them and he said, receive the Holy Spirit, trying to give them the very breath of God. When we have the breath of God within us and we live out being the church, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the outside really looks like. What matters is that there is life inside, that God is being glorified. You see, God's word says this, that unless God is at work and the Holy Spirit is at work in us, and the master is the one who builds the house, those who labor in vain. You see, we can work really hard to look like good people and even try to look like godly people. But if we are not filled with the Holy Spirit, if we are not living lives to worship and to glorify Him, we're like this building that begins to crumble and fall apart and eventually is wiped out. So I challenge you, don't be like this building. I challenge you, live a life of praise. Be the church. Don't be like this building that all of a sudden worship stopped happening there. Seeking God stopped happening there. Continue to seek Him. Continue to pursue Him. Continue to be the church. because you yourself, you are the temple of the Holy Spirit.